Alrighty, and welcome back. We got Nexus Gaming Series matchup on our hands here. And on the left-hand side, we have ReGen. And on the right, we have Misplaced Ults. Let's get into this. I am absolutely ecstatic for this because we're getting into... I keep forgetting that I have chat on, so I'm reading chat and I'm like, everyone else can read it. Like, I don't care. Either way, right away they ban out Zagara on the side of Misplaced Ults, not wanting to deal with that hero. Did I add in too many L's for Misplaced Ults? My eyes are horrible. Yes, I do believe I did. So let me just fix that on everything. I apologize to the team. Like, I typed it out and I was like, no, I think that's right. My eyes are horrible though. All right, there we go. Everything's back. Welcome to the stream. All right, looks like though we do have a ban on the Stukov coming out from ReGen. Not a bad idea at all. Really good zoning that he provides, as well as just disengage from any sort of dive with flailing swipe. Realistically, like I absolutely love him in this slot for the ban, if not really, you know, the first pick area. Especially on a map like this, Braxis Holdout, I just think he's very, very strong, and he's got a lot to offer a team. But they swapped to the ETC at the last moment. I mean, realistically, both of those are good bans. ETC might be prioritized a little bit more in that first slot, but realistically, I mean, I don't know. You could go either way with it. It really depends on what you want to go with your composition. If you want to just have that ability to block any sort of dive coming into your team, yeah, you go for that. Now, ETC, he does have a little bit of a pushback, so realistically, either or is a good choice, but what are we going to get in this first pick? Displacement. Garrosh being just so strong. I like that. Now, what do we get on the side of ReGen? They're only going to have these two picks before they go into the ban phase, so typically we do see a tank healer, or we often see some sort of second support and main damage, so we could see like a Tassadar and a Vala, or a Tassadar and a Tracer. I mean, there's a lot of options there. But then tank-wise, you could realistically go into... I was going to say Diablo, but that would show your hand a little bit too early, because then they would know that you're going for the dive. And the displacement from Garrosh won't really work out too well. I actually think one of their best courses of action here is to actually go for maybe their damage and a Tassadar, realistically. Force Walls are just a nuisance here. It can be paired well with a lot of other heroes for follow-up damage. And you could just take an auto attacker with it. So they go for the mage. They go for the mage in the backpack. The Lieutenant Morales with Gul'dan. So extremely good wave clear up against the Zerg wave. Really, really good point control because of the fact that he never needs to leave, and the fact that Lieutenant Morales has that rework, and she doesn't really need to worry about going back to well, going back to core. She actually has some lane sustain herself with her mana bar. So, I mean, this combination, it can be, and it probably will be, pretty strong out of ReGen. Now, realistically, what does Misplaced Ults take here? Stukov's on the table. Rhaegar's on the table. I personally think they should just go for like a gray main, high, you know, burst damage in that 4-man lane, as well as something like the Stukov or even a Rhaegar. I think those are very, very good choices. They go for the Vala. Do they take the Tassadar for the combination? No, they go Ariel. So they're going for the same kind of thing. They're going to have a lot of just lane life, because of the fact that they can just sit here forever and just... Vala fills up Ariel. Now, she does have to go back for mana every so often, but either way, she's going to have a lot of value here. And just the Tassadar hover coming up from ReGen, not a bad idea, seeing as they're going to have that Vala. He's something that you would not want to deal with. But at the same time, realistically, they could pick it up themselves. They do have first pick after this ban phase, so it's just something to consider on their end, realistically. But it's definitely something that they don't want to deal with. There's the kind of hover over it. They might be discussing their next picks down the road. But I like that. Realistically, if they go all the way through for that Tassadar ban, I completely agree with it. So That's not bad at all. His wave clear is really good. His ability to just power up the Vala is phenomenal. I literally I played a game right before this with a couple friends, and we did Tassadar, Illidan, and Abathur, and that was just an absolute nightmare to deal with. Mostly because I also got a lot of free, like, they were just like, it was on Infernal Shrines. Like, I just have very, very good Abathur luck. Like, I talked with Hedgie, who from Alaska, about this, and he was saying, he's just like, you have really, really good Abathur luck. Like, I'll always get the best Abathur maps. He's like, yeah, I'll queue in and get like Braxis Hold, and it's just like, it doesn't work as well. It's so hard to play him. But either way, this ban coming out from Misplaced Ults, looking at the draft, I think they would want to prioritize, okay, I was gonna say solo lane and tank, but they go ahead and they get rid of the Anub'arak. The dive from him into that backline can be very powerful. The web rep for the, just to, you know, nullify a healer or, you know, some damage. So that means that, I wonder if it shows on the side of Misplaced Ults a little bit that they potentially are going to kind of lean on that hyper carry Vala. Because if they're banning that out, that means that they're worried about something being taken away from some sort of, you know, if you take one part of the puzzle away, composition like that can fall apart. Like, if you take out the Vala and it's just a hyper carry, you've got what damage? So it's one of those situations, and definitely the Anub'arak has that isolation value, and it's very strong, and they definitely do not want to deal with it. ReGen, though, in this 3-4 slot,
Ready for action.
I'm assuming, I'm just curious because, like, do they take the Gray Man as a solo laner, or are they going to run like a 2-3? Like, are they going to put Gul'dan Morales top lane, Muradin, Gray Man bottom lane, and then you pick up a second healer here? Like, realistically, you could pick up Rhaegar, and your composition is not fun to deal with. You've got good wave clear in top, good laning, sustain in top. Bottom would be very, very strong. Like, I honestly think that even a Stukov here would be very, very powerful too. It would hinder the Garrosh. I mean, it would hinder the Ariel in that backline healing. Vala can't really get a lot of her combination off if she's just silent. So I really hope they actually go into a secondary healer. They pick up a Stukov and they run a 2-3 on the side of ReGen, because that would be really, really powerful on this map. Now, looking at the side of Misplaced Ults, though, we need to consider their solo lane as well as the last member of the 4-man for bottom lane. Do they go for like an Alarak? Ooh. So they go for Kael'thas for the wave clear. Not a bad idea at all. I didn't consider that. And Sonya for that top lane. So this is the real question. Do you have Greymane versus Sonya and then you run a strong 4-man in bottom? Or do you do exactly that? You run a 2-3. And I keep talking about it, but like, I honestly think that it could potentially throw off Misplaced Ults, and you could get a lot of push value. I mean, a Sonya, I don't think she can deal with a Gul'dan Lieutenant Morales. Now, bottom lane, yeah, that might be a little bit difficult. But as long as they can play safe and just clear the waves, they should be fine. What are you taking here? I want it to be the second support, but realistically, they honestly could go for Dahaka here and just have Dahaka versus Sonya. And then you just have an extremely...
I hear the call of the wild.
What? Okay. Well, there's your solo laner. So Sonya's going to be going up against Misha? That... I did not expect that. That's good. I like that. Let's get going into this matchup here, though. All right, and on the left-hand side, we are going to have ReGen with Murda on that Rexxar. Savior will be on Lieutenant Morales, Zul'Kan on Greymane, Templart on Muradin, and Altanian on the Gul'dan. On the right-hand side, we are going to have Misplaced Ults with Sheepfu on Sonya, Sir Maka. I believe it's Sir Maka on Kael'thas, JTR on Vala, Lincoln Park on Garrosh and DB Smiley on Ariel. I'm definitely what I'm most excited about is the fact that there is a Rexar currently, and I mean, I've seen it on this map before ages ago. I mean, Rexar realistically, I don't think he's been touched in a very long time by any sort of reworks or changes, so I don't know how I feel about this. It's interesting to say the least. Either way, we're gonna get into this game here.
Facility.
Go ahead and take a peek at some of these level 1 talents here. Looks like standard cocktail build from the Greymane. Sonya is going to be going into that war paint, which was going to be very good for her lane sustain in that solo lane and top. Now here's the thing, I'm going to have to hover over some Rexar talents here because I do not know him that well at all. He's one of the least played heroes I probably have at this point, just because it's just, I don't know, like, I love to play Lost Vikings, but when it comes to Rexar, it's just like, I have love for him, but I'm just not good at it, so I just avoid it. And so we're going to go for that easy prey at level 1. And we're actually going to have corruption stacks from Gul'dan. Interesting. And we're actually having the convection out of Sermaka there. And at this point, it looks like the teams are just going to be pretty safe. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Realistically, they're just going to be working on some of those early game stacks, as well as just trying to get laning up here and just trying to sort of experience. Peeking up over into this top lane, it looks like we just have Sheikah going up against Murda, and it looks like, realistically, that should be kind of even played between these two. But down in the bottom lane, Maltinian taking quite a bit of damage, going to get healed up by Lieutenant Morales, going to actually be dying, and that's going to be the first kill of the game, going over to Misplaced Ults. JTR falling a little bit low, but going to get healed up by DB Smiley. And it looks like they're going to posture up for the little bush here that they can get. Templar caught out of position, going to go ahead and actually get knocked back there. And it looks like he actually took, I do not know the talent offhand, I apologize. Took the charge, I believe it is. They actually pull on the Templar here, but no follow-up. Is it charge? Body check. Close enough. Body check, though, was picked up on the side of Misplaced Ults for that Garrosh. And interesting enough, I honestly have not seen that talent very often. Either way, though, it looks like we are going to be having the beacon starting up here quite soon. And realistically, Misplaced Ults, they are holding over this lane quite well. And I gotta see, this is just like really side note, but I swear to God, the pumpkin horse was actually like dropping candy as it was going on. Yeah, it is okay. That's wonderful. I absolutely makes the horse a little bit better. Either way, it looks like this is actually going to be held over by ReGen. Misplaced Ults can go ahead and pick up that ReGen globe in the bottom half that map there. DB Smiling going to get that knockback as well. Zoltan taking quite a bit of damage. Lincoln Park going to be taking quite a bit himself. The stun does go out. Looks like they do get the pull on to Templar. He does get the dwarf toss away, spreading that bomb to Altanian. Zoltan not going to be receiving it either. And it looks like during this entire time they've been charging this beacon. Now this will be stopped at about 80%. We do have Muradin falling here though. And this will be held over and stopped at 80% here. So as long as Sonya can get onto that top lane, they definitely can hold this over and get quite a bit of value. I mean, realistically, like Murda at this point, it seems like it's causing Sonya a little bit of trouble up here. Now the real question is, are they rotating Sonya into the bottom lane? We do have a player dropping. Pause is going to be out, so we'll go ahead and just change the window. Try and do that as quickly as possible. I couldn't see my button. I was on the wrong page for my stream deck. But either way, going into this matchup, it's actually really interesting. I honestly, typically, I never see the body check talent at level 1 for Garrosh here. So interesting that we're gonna have Lincoln Park picking that up. And then the other thing that we're seeing here is it looks like there's a lot of talents going into Misha here. So at level 1, they took easy prey. And level 2 looks like it's Hungry Bear. I mean, it will give the bear sustain. I mean, healing for 4.5% of her attacks. I hate just reading talents, but unfortunately, I do not know the Rexar talent builds very well. So it's just one of those things, got to kind of just learn as we go here. But it looks like we do have a little bit of lag from one of the players. And at this time, I mean, we can just discuss some of the early game builds here. Realistically, looks like we do have corruption stacks coming out from that Gul'dan. So I actually number one competitor is Comcast. I like that. That was good, clever. And the other thing, just major hi to Twitch chat. How you guys doing? I see you in there, Rexpa and Zedok. Thank you for swinging by, as well as everyone else in here just watching the games. Thank you for swinging by and watching the games. If you're having a good time and you're enjoying this so far, go ahead and hit that follow button. But it looks like we are getting ready to get back into this. Okay. We're going to go ahead and just get this set up. All right. So at this point, we do have Altanian back into the game. Looks like they will actually start to go right back onto this point. We have Templar doing a little bit of damage here to DD. Smiley actually going to hop over as well. The grenade going to go out for the separation. They're going to get the kill onto Lieutenant Morales there, but at the same time, in this top lane, Lincoln Park, Sarmaka, and Sheepfu have been up here pushing back Murda and almost killing him, to mind you that. And they've basically held over top, and it looks like Templar's going to go ahead and jump over the wall, try and sneak this away so they can get that last 20%. They're not even going to rotate onto this. They are fighting over the point currently in bottoms. Zul'Kan trying to do a little bit of damage, but unfortunately he's going to get hit by Kael'thas's chain bomb. Going to get healed right back up by the Lieutenant Morales either way. Now bottom lane, it's an early game Zergo, excuse me. And realistically, it's not going to get the most insane value. Actually, Zedok getting pulled over the gate, but then getting whipped into the wall. A lot of damage going out. He will try and get through the gate, but it's not being burned down quick enough. He is going to go out, but he will be falling to that Vala. And it looks like with him dying, they're going to have to play this a little bit safer. Now, Altanian in that backline just throwing out that poison damage is going to be very, very good. But at the same time, you have Sarmaka just throwing out the Fell Flames, which are just going to give so much, as well as just stacking off the heroes that kind of don't dodge it quick enough. So either way, I mean, they opened up the gate during this first Zerg wave, but realistically, it wasn't the most insane value. Currently, experience-wise, it doesn't look like we're looking at a huge difference between these two teams. It's a very close game currently. For total experience, we're looking at about like a 200 difference, but realistically, in this top lane, we have had Murda currently getting pushed in by Sheepfu here quite a bit, and this is something that he's going to need to deal with, or at least address quite soon. Otherwise, he's just going to get pushed in consistently throughout this match. Now, we do have Templar up here in this top lane, making sure Sheepfu isn't getting a little bit more value while, Murda cleans up this lane. But at this point, we are going to be having this hard camp being picked up. Templar going to go scout out that team, but just turn around right away. Does not want to be caught out in the rotation between those members here. And it looks like we do have a small push down this lane with the 4 members, and this camp tosses out onto the soft camp just to try and pull it away so it's easier just to get the kill on it. We do actually have a few of the members from ReGen invading here. Altanian going to get tapped by that convection top lane. We'll give him another convection stack for Kael'thas there. Just quickly, while this is pushing up, we're going to peek in the top lane. We currently have Murda getting chased in by Sheepfu, but unfortunately will not be enough. Going to the bottom lane, we actually have we have Muradin dying. And with that Muradin dying, I mean, I would not be too surprised to see Misplaced Ults try and push in a little bit more. They should really take advantage of the value that they're going to get out of this. Now, at the same time, the Zerg pen should be resetting quite soon, if I'm not mistaken.
Looks like the beacons are reactivating.
So it looks like we are going to be having the grenade go out. We're stacking a little bit through those level 1 talents. Convection will go out as well, and we're about, I want to say, halfway through, over halfway through the convection stacks. Now, it looks like at this point, Misplaced Ults are positioned for this bottom lane, so we'll go ahead and just watch over in this top because we do have Murda currently coming in. Sheepfu going to get knocked by that heavy impact from the Muradin, and it looks like Templar will be able to just kind of zone her away. They back off, and this will be traded out. Now, they are rotating two of the members into this top lane. This is something that we need to make sure that we're kind of watching here, because if Murda gets baited here, and it looks like he is, he does send in just the bear. There is a little bit of a flank coming out. Murda gonna get chased down here a little bit. Linkin Park coming in. There's the pull in. The toss is out. Stun is there. And that is going to be the kill onto Rexar. Top lane will be held over, and that's pretty good for them at this point. They're gonna be able to turn this around, open up top lane for themselves, and actually DB Smile in a bad position here. Templar getting quite a bit of value here. They will get the kill on to that Ariel, so that is going to be heard down, and this bottom lane, they're going to be trading these out. We do have Zul'Kin going up into top lane, going up against Sheepfu here, and he is falling extremely low. Do they end up getting the kill? That is true. Zul'Kin will rotate onto this point, go ahead and start the Zerg channel, and ReGen on 10s here. I mean, they've got a slight experience lead here. It's not anything insane, but either way, I mean, they're starting to really get some pacing in their favor. And that's the big thing that I think we need to consider in this matchup, is that if ReGen can consider a good pace for themselves, they can realistically just continue this game and win it. And we actually have Templar going after Sir Maka here, going to get the dive into the backline from Zul'Kin. They get the kill. That is 0 stacks for his Convection. JT are going to be falling here, and as well as the Garrosh. Now that is going to be 100% Zerg wave barreling down that top lane, but at the same time, ReGen is not set up for it. They need to go into the top lane. Okay, no, they're just going to go ahead and let the Zerg push up with the Misha and the Rexar, and go ahead and just push down bottom and open this up for the potential next Zerg wave, which realistically is going to be, we're going to be pushing 11, 12 minutes in that area, so we're getting these late game Zerg waves, which are going to be very, very powerful. Now, we'll talk about ults at this point really quickly. I believe it's Release the... No, it's not Release the Boars. Unleash the Boars. I was close. Unleash the Boars from... Ooh, Misha. I'm sorry, Murda, but I have to call you out. You're a bad pet owner. You never let Misha die, but Sheepfu falling a little bit low there to the Zerg wave. The other thing that we're going to note really quickly here in this bottom lane, we're actually going to be having that fort falling, as well as ReGen pushing down into here. Linkin Park trying to delay this a little bit. Grenade going to go out trying to confirm the fort, but Templar is down here, so they are able to body a little bit more damage. So either way, let's just talk about some of these 10 talents. It's been a while, but we actually have Unleash the Boars, Stim Drone, Go for the Throat, Avatar, and Horrify on the side of ReGen. Now on the right hand side for Misplaced Ults, we're going to go ahead and actually have Leap, Crystal Aegis, the Phoenix from Kael'thas. There is a... This is interesting. We actually have Strafe. They don't go for the stun, which is a little... That's interesting to me. They go for more damage. Either way, and then we're also going to have Warlord's Challenge. So I was thinking that the Rain of Vengeance might be a little bit more powerful combo with the stun from the Leap, as well as the Warlord's Challenge. But either way, I'm not the one playing here. I just get to cast it and kind of talk about this. So it looks like we're going to have a lot of these camps being picked up, and they're going to be just opening up these lanes as best as they can. Now, realistically, ReGen has got pretty good map control at this point. So on the side of this place also, they've got a lot of back pushing to do. I mean, it's 13 to 11s, and we actually have Rexar and Misha in bottom lane going up against the 4-man of Misplaced Ults, and they're going to go ahead and really start to burn this down. And at the same time, ReGen, they're going to go ahead and do the same thing top. Once again, Murda, I got... Let the bear die. So, that is going to be the well falling there, as well as the fort. Now, in top lane, it looks like ReGen's going to go ahead and just start to open up this keep front wall, and where do we stop is the question. When does ReGen go back for the defense? It looks like at this point they actually send back all of Misplaced Ults to go ahead and make sure that they're pulled back off of this, and that was a pretty good job on the side of ReGen, because what it does is it definitely pulls them off those points. They get the chance to clear the lane, but it looks like during this entire time we've had Murda starting out onto the boss. Now this is the slowest. It's very slow, and the big question is, do we go? They're not going to catch it in time. They postured for it a little bit too late. There's the toss onto Atanian. Do we have a Horrify? The taunt does come out, and it looks like they will not have it. There is actually Zul'Kin taking quite a bit of damage from that strafe, but it looks like the Stim Drone is a little bit... It's called a little bit too early, because it looks like ReGen is going to go ahead and disengage from this completely. Nisha's just getting a little bit of a stun there to delay this, but meanwhile, they're going to go ahead and steal this camp away while the boss starts to walk down top. And yeah, it looks like they're going to go ahead and hearth back at this point. Murda will go ahead and try and sneak this top point, while Linkin Park is going to go ahead and grab this bottom. That gives them a lot of good I mean, they're gonna get some decent percentage out of this, and not a ton, but either way, they still get some, which is a little bit of a Zerg wave. At this point, the boss is going to be pushing into this top lane, opening up the keep front gate, but I don't believe it's going to be getting the keep. Now, at the same time, ReGen has gone ahead and rotated around the map, picking up both of these points, and we actually have a little bit of a fight here on to the point where they're trying to get that Nisha to get a kill here, but either way, it looks like we have a Willow Streams coming out. The whip does go out from DD Smiley. There is the Horrify to separate them from the team. Unleash the Boars is used, and actually they're kind of running away. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too late there. If they might have been able to utilize it in a chase situation, and realistically, ReGen, they are really, really close to, 16. So if they can win, if they can get a fight and win it, or they can just get 16s, it's realistically, those are the two options. And so typically we see teams just play safe here. They're just like, we'll play the safe game, we'll lane up, and we'll go ahead and just collect 16 off of the lane. We don't need to kind of fight over this, and then we'll fight you once we're, we have a better advantage. Realistically, that's exactly what we're doing. We actually have a huge push up into this top lane, and Misplaced Ults, they're just going to go ahead and take advantage of the fact that ReGen is just not fighting them. They don't want to fight because there's no 16, so they're just like, all right, you know what, we'll go ahead and take this fort, and we'll close that experience gap that you've kind of been slowly, gaining. And the other thing, too, is that if they're all up here, they can't take, ReGen can't take this point because they don't want to fight without their 16s. That's definitely something that we can see here, and they're currently posturing up into this bush. We do have Templars seeing Lincoln Park here. The stun does go out. The rest of the team is following up. Altani will get a bunch of stacks off that. Going to go ahead. They actually have the leap going in on to Altani here. The pole is going to go in. They separate Savior from the team here. Horrify is used as well. Unstoppable is used. And also the Crystal Egg is Lincoln Park falling low, but Morales will be the first one to fall here. Looks like they will potentially be getting another kill. Nope, Altani will be able to get out of there. Now Lincoln Park and a few of the members falling low here. Murder rotating in. Nisha going to go ahead and actually get tossed away. I do believe Zulkin trying to fight Shipu. Gonna get that kill as well as Lincoln Park, and DD Smiley gonna have to go ahead, get out of here with the little bit of health that he has. And this will be another Zerg wave barreling down that bottom lane. And the great thing for ReGen at this point, they have a camp pushing this too. So the wave's been very far pushed up. Murden looks like he's going to rotate into that top lane. Zulkin needs to get some healing from his healer, but she's dead. Now, they do have 16s. They can definitely get this keep before the Zerg wave is approaching. But it looks like they're going to go ahead and just wait for it, realistically. Lieutenant Morales is rotating into the lane. She will be able to give them healing, but this is realistically just buying time for Misplaced Ults to set themselves up for a defense. Unfortunately, but the other thing too is, they didn't have anyone to sit there and heal. They didn't have. It was a little risky, but at the same time, I realistically think they could have taken that keep before the Zerg wave came. Either way, it looks like we do have a whip back onto Templar here. We have a little bit of damage going out onto that keep from this Banelings. A little bit of a chase. The Phoenix does go out for the zoning control as well as damage onto the Zerg wave. Templar trying to get some damage onto Lincoln Park here. He does get out of the way, but at this point, the Zerg wave is about a quarter in size, so realistically, I don't expect them to be going in the core. Fear does cover, or Horrify is used by Gul'dan. Unfortunately, they're just not able to kind of pick up a kill at this point, so they're going to have to back off. They get the keep, yes, but at this point, that's really all they're going to get. They're going to have to back off and try this again in a minute 45, roughly. Whenever this last, there you go. So the next minute 45, it will have the next Zerg Pens open up for channeling. And realistically, at this point, you push up your top lane, you let bottom naturally push with that catapult, you don't go past mid, and you play safe till 20, and you fight over the objective. That's the way that this game looks like it's going to be going. Just the way that these, Misplaced Ults, they did try and take a fight beforehand when they, when ReGen was down and they didn't have 16s, but unfortunately, that just didn't go over to their favor, and it realistically gave it over to ReGen. So I think they're a little I would hesitate myself, but they are even talent tiers. They're just a level behind. It's nothing crazy, but they're going to go ahead and just play the safe game here and just kind of soak these lanes, work on just getting closer to 20, keeping that experience gap small, and it's safe play for me, the team, and I don't blame them at all. of a little bit of a potential invade. They may just go out just to see the numbers. We have the leap actually. We do have another jump in as well. Gul'dan's going to be falling first in this engagement. We actually have quite a bit of damage going on to defeat the numbers here. We also do have Moda taking quite a bit himself. Templar in that background trying to get so much damage. Zukin trying to find a kill, but it looks like they just kind of reform on the side of Misplaced Ults, and realistically they steal over this camp and they get a kill too. Really good play from them. They go ahead and pick up, excuse me, they go ahead and clear out that camp. It looks like, I thought they had picked it up there for a second, but they go ahead and they just clear it out, and realistically they get one kill, and that's going to be a free boss potentially, and Shifu is dying, so that definitely will be the position where they are. They currently don't have that extra person now. We do have, actually we have the Zul'Kan in there as well. Sir Maka trying to get the kills, but unfortunately it's not going to be there. They actually going to be losing all the convection stacks. DB Smiley trying to get out of there as well. The jump from Templar will confirm that as well. And JTR is going to be falling on top of that. And that is going to be boss. Currently pushing up into the top lane. The Zerg waves are going to be channeled by ReGen. And I personally, I think this is a game-ending push. They do have the potential for the, you know, the defense, but realistically, I mean, we have to be a little realistic here. I don't expect it. I have a lot of faith, but it's one of those things that by the time they're all up, we're going to be 25 seconds from now. They're currently on core from ReGen. They've left both of those things to channel, so if they do throw at this point, they can realistically just wait for the Zerg wave or the boss to just kind of finish the boss. We do have the dive in from the Sun here. Shifu is going to go ahead and try and get some of the damage out. The Morphi did go out as well. So Maka is going to be trying to get a bunch of damage onto Altanian. Looks like we also have the Zerg wave currently finishing up. That is going to be Shifu dying here. That is also going to be Kael'thas as well. Linkin Park trying to get a little bit on himself. We actually have the stim drone onto Zul'Kan here. DB Smiley taking quite a bit of damage. There is the stun out of the Rain of Vengeance, but that is going to be game number 1 going over to ReGen. GG, well played. Whew. Oh my god, what an absolutely insane ending there. Oh my god. I can't believe it. That was absolutely phenomenal. Some people forget to turn off the audio on their phones. That's me. But either way, I mean, I absolutely love that first game. What a phenomenal back and forth. 18-9 kills. I mean, we had such a good game. Now I did peek over at Twitch chat. Now I'm not the biggest Gul'dan player, so I have to check a peek. Oh, health funnel. I mean, I guess that would be beneficial if you are able to get that kill, get the refresh, and then utilize it. I'm not a mage player, so I realistically can't talk to the other talents that you would, rather pick there. I mostly, I try and at least know what the standard, what the build is going to be going into. And variations like this, I wonder what the optimization from that is. Very interesting. And this build from Garrosh, I've never seen this before. That's really interesting to me too. But either way, let's go ahead and get into the next game. I am absolutely excited about this. Let's go ahead and set this up. By the way, hi, once again, I am Bahamut the Caster this evening for this wonderful matchup. Even if you're enjoying this stream, go ahead and hit that follow button. It means an absolute ton to me. And if you already have, thank you for swinging by. I'm so glad you're here watching the games and enjoying them with me. Just to note here, this isn't the only matchup we have. After this game, we are going to be going into Alaska versus Better Than Yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So we have got a back-to-back matchup tonight, and I am ecstatic about it because my favorite thing to do, I love to cast these teams. I love to show them off. I mean, this is an absolute blast for me. So let's go ahead and get these teams in here. Go ahead and get these invites out. There we go. Swap that team. Oh my god. This is exciting. I like this. Let's go ahead and just peek over at Twitch chat really quick. Ooh. Okay. So it looks like we're going to go ahead and just have the last few members loading into this lobby, and then we're going to get going into game number 2. I am too excited about this. did the wrong lobby. I don't know why I thought we were going to Dragonshire. It was banned out. I completely swapped. I don't know why I did that. I just don't even know. Infernal Shrines. Yep, okay. I have no idea. Like, my brain was just like, go to Dragonshire. That's where everyone's going, right? Oop. Make me observer. And you. Okay. Let's get these teams in here. Let's also update the score for the next scene so you guys know exactly who's up and who's down. We actually have ReGen taking that first game. So it looks like they are on the possible road for 3 points here. Let's go ahead and organize these teams a little bit. All right, we just need to get the last member. Oh, thank you so much. RK the Pie Maker, thank you so much for the follow, bud. Really appreciate it. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Why is health funnel isn't the question? Literally zero reason for it. Oh, okay. Okay. I honestly, I don't play the most Gul'dan in the world, so it's like one of those things, like, I see things like that, and I'm like, I mean, I can see reasoning for it, but, like, I don't play him, I don't know the combination, so it's like, typically it's just like, I mean, it could make sense, but I don't know all of his talents memorized, which is, you know, someone needs to make that audiobook. It's super normal. All right, looks like we are going to... Hi, Rexpa. Yes, we are going into the Alaska game after this one. We have Alaska versus Better Than Yesterday. The streak continues. Just casting every single Alaska game, I believe, this season. I've honestly just been staying in Div B, and I love it. Like, I love... Like, Div B is so much fun. I like staying in the one area so we can... Oh, do I get to set it to referee quick enough? I know it auto-set to spectators. So hopefully they know. Either way, we're going to go into Infernal Shrines here. Let's get going. We're set to spectator mode. Let me at least... I'm just going to get a message out to the captains really quick. Okay, and where is... Okay. Alrighty. Accidentally set myself to spectator mode, so I literally can't... I can't message the teams. I can't see what they're saying in draft, so I'm just making sure that they know. Alrighty. Either way, we do actually have a first ban onto that Garrosh. Ooh, Silent Shoe saying best Gul'dan he's ever seen. Ooh, Silent Shoe. Just that love in chat. All right, Infernal Shrines. Realistically, I think ReGen should try and focus on banning something that they think is just strong on the map, or they just focus on something that they know Misplaced Ults is really strong on. The Ariel was pretty good. You might want to consider it. I don't know in the first ban slot, but... Oh, looks like we actually have someone dropping out here, so we'll go ahead and just swap this over. And hey, I get to set myself to referee, so there we go. Oh, wait, what's the issue? Oh. That's on me. Setting up the lobbies as quickly as possible, but it looks like we just had someone set that up for us really quickly, so we will go ahead and get this going real quick. I just need to get him back into the lobby here. Can he not join in? I thought he actually had... I have too many people on my friends list at this point. I apologize. Trying just to find the one person. I thought I had him added here. see if I can just get him back into this. There we go. Okay, looks like we do have the right banners. Everything's set. So we are gonna have, yep, okay. Let's go ahead and get back into this draft. Okay, there we go. Either way. Let's get right back into this. Alrighty, so here we go into game number 2. We actually have the right map, the right bands. Let's get actually going here. I'm curious to see what ReGen actually bans out on this map. I'm not too sure, to be honest. Do they try and go for the Zagara that they've been doing here and there? I don't know. I'm thinking about like just the overall composition. Like, what are they going to be aiming for? I don't know. Like, realistically, you could just go for something standard and just take out Malthael here if they don't plan on taking it themselves. Lucy is not a bad choice at all. I don't really know. First ban slot, I mean, it's not horrible, but we do see him often on this map. I like that. I think it's a good ban overall. The break it down can be a nuisance to deal with, but I don't know. It's just like one of those things like Lucy on that first slot. I just don't think he's that big of a worry. But they want to prioritize him, so maybe it will just kind of muddle up what they're going to be going for here on Infernal Shrines. I mean, there's a heavy priority fighting over these skeletal defenders, and it looks like they're going to ban out Garish. I wouldn't be too surprised to actually see ReGen just pick up a ETC in this first slot. I think he's a very strong hero for this map. I really like him as a tank. Overall, I think he's just strong. So I honestly hope that ReGen takes the ETC in this first slot, and they go ahead and do it. It's just a lot of things that I've seen them play in the past, as well as just overall the hero himself is just very strong. So I don't blame them for taking that at all. I should have grabbed more cups of water. That's what I always forget to do, though. But either way, let's get into this 1-2 pickup here on the side of Misplaced Ults. I wonder what they're going to be taking with. Going into that ETC, there's the power slide for a little bit of an engage. They could potentially go into a little bit of a Duke. Okay. They can go into like a dive comp a little bit, so I was going to talk about having Stukov here. Ooh, but a Nubarak with Stukov. Oh. Are we going to see a Cho'Gall in a second? I mean, it's possible, realistically. They have the pick ban opportunity for it. I think Stukov could handle the healing on a Cho'Gall realistically. Please do it. But they pick up Greymane and Rhaegar here, and realistically, I like this start to the draft. What I don't like is that we're just seeing Where's the Halloween skin Greymane? I mean, come on, we've had Ring Lord forever. You gotta change it up when the new stuff comes out. But either way, this ban could potentially be a little bit telling of what they're going to be going into here after this ban phase. I mean, the dream is Cho'Gall, but realistically, I'm expecting something like some sort of maybe Chromie, some sort of Li Ming. Realistically, a Chromie ban here would be pretty strong if they don't plan on taking it themselves in the next 2 slots, but ReGen could prioritize it themselves. They do have the setup for it. They do need a solo laner, so that's where that Zagara can come into play too if they want to go into something like that. I don't know. Let's see. They ban out the sun. It's interesting. They're just banning out the solo laner. She works really well in the shrines. Like, she's not a bad choice at all. It doesn't really tell them where their draft is going either. They're just taking something that's strong off the map. It's something that ReGen can play. But it's something that they, you know, they don't need to. So realistically, I think it's a pretty good setup here. I think they contemplate the Cho'Gall at this point. It's an option on the table. I mean, it's a map where he works. He excels on maps where you fight over a point. I mean, I've talked with people about it, and that's like the one thing that it comes down to. It's like that is one critical piece of the puzzle when it comes to drafting him. So, I mean, at the same time, they have Greymane and the Rhaegar. They actually take out the Gul'dan here. Not bad. He does have pretty good clear on these shrines, so the priority of that isn't a bad choice on their end for ReGen. Do it, Misplaced Ults. Make my day. Please, just do a Cho'Gall. Just do a crazy little pickup here. I mean, realistically, ReGen can do the exact same thing. I mean, either team is set up for it. I doubt it, but they're gonna need. If we want to talk realistic draft, they're gonna need someone for. Okay.
Death is beyond your reach.
Do they hyper carry on a Malthael? Tassadar is still available, by the way, and on a map like this, they need to consider the Tassadar. Please Cho'Gall ReGen, please. I honestly think it will be Chromie and Zagara. I think that works well with their draft. It works for their solo laner. You could realistically go into an Alarak Chromie. It's a lot of melee and it's a lot of dive, but at the same time, I don't know if they'd be able to deal with it. Now, they do have Stukov with Flailing Swipe. There's a little bit of disengage. Tyrael does have a little bit of control. Nubrak does as well, so it could counteract that dive. Who knows? I mean, they have a really, really good control composition on the side of Misplaced Ults, but ReGen in this last 4-5 slot, what are we going to be seeing? This is Zagara.
Let the games begin.
Medivh. I don't get it. I don't see. Are you taking the Medivh to dive the Stukov and get into the backline? Because the thing that, like, it's the thing that I've been kind of just mumbling about for a couple minutes here is, yes, you have a dive comp, but that doesn't mean it's going to work. There's a lot of disengage and a lot of things to interrupt it, and I'm honestly a little bit afraid for ReGen here because, I mean, if you're going to dive in with a 4-man, you're doing exactly what Malthael wants you to do, is be close to him. And then as long as the pustul's going out from Stukov and you're getting shielding from Tyrael, realistically, that is a horrible 4-man to deal with. Now, going up against the Zagara, I personally think, let's just go, let's just throw caution to the wind. Dang it. I was going to say, let's go triple tank and take it to Haka. But they go ahead and pick up the Falstead, so that's going to be Falstead going up against the Zagara here. Or Malthael. Malthael can go up against the Zagara as well. Actually, there's a lot of laning options here. I'm not too sure exactly what they're going to be going for. There's choices in the direction that they want to go with their laning. They could do like a 1-3-1 if they realistically wanted to. Do like Malthael top, you do a Nubrak Tyrael, Stukov mid, and then you put your Falstead bottom. And then you have your Falstead rotate around as needed with flight because the map isn't insanely large. Either way, though, we'll introduce teams as we get into the game here. Either way, we can talk about some of these just laning matchups as we are kind of getting into a little bit there. Actually, no. Let's take a pause for a second. Let's talk about that Medivh. Like, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the composition they're going up against is really gonna work out. But we're gonna find out. I'm excited. All right, and on the left-hand side, we are going to have ReGen with Zul'Kan on that Medivh. Templar will be on the ETC. Savior will be on that Rhaegar. Altanian's going to be on the Greymane, and it looks like we will have Murda on that Zagara. Now, on the right-hand side, we have Misplaced Ults with Sheepfu on the Falstead, Sermaka on that Malthael, I do believe? No, Tyrael. Lincoln Park is going to be on the Anubarak, and DB Smiley will be on the Stukov, and I didn't want to forget it, Malthael will be played by JTR. Alright, looks like we do have a little bit of posturing at this point. Nothing too crazy. We currently have the Greymane going into that bottom lane. Looks like he will be cheesing down this as well. They do actually start to rotate. He's taking a little bit too long, and he might be in a bad position. If he hearthed, he actually would have been out by now. Stukov is coming around here. DB Smiley will scout him out. They do have the portal. It looks like Medivh will come through, and actually Altanian's going to go to the other side, and he will be getting the protect status. Zul'Kan, not sure if he'll be able to get out. There is the silence, and that is going to be Medivh falling here, as well as Greymane, and that's going to be a very strong start for... I'm sorry. I should have muted myself there. So, either way, they go ahead and they get those 2 kills, and they obviously feel good about it. We do have the members coming back here. It is quite early. This isn't going to give them an insane lead, but we're looking at about 3/8 of a level realistically. But still, I mean, it still feels good to get those early game kills, and they stop the cheese from the well being stolen away. But it looks like we currently have Altanian in his bottom lane up against the 3 members of Misplaced Ults. Meanwhile, Zul'Kan will be rotating down as well. Currently have Sermaka on that mid lane, and realistically, it looks like they're kind of splitting their assets here, just soaking the lanes, making sure that they just continue to get good experience. And even then, I mean, just to note really quickly, the early game kills, they haven't yielded an insane amount of experience difference. We actually have a dive here onto DB Smiley. He will be falling, and it looks like they get that kill right as this mid lane shrine is starting. Now, this is a early game shrine, so it's just the clap back right away. But we actually have a little bit of a dive here onto Sermaka. The back and forth between those teams is pretty good. We looks like there are. Just the shade in game, dang. Okay. Either way, it looks like we have Lincoln Park currently diving in here. It looks like Sermaka will be doing the same. The rest of the team's going to be following up. Murda coming into this bottom lane. Templar are going to be diving in. Actually getting silenced here. Not sure if he'll get out. Okay, he gets out just fine. Not a big deal. But we do have Medivh taking so much damage. Zul'Kan gonna get protect status, and it looks like he will be able to get out of there without a problem. And at this point, though, they chase ReGen off the point. They get halfway, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and just steal away this Punisher. This is going to be a free Punisher for ReGen at this point. It's not ReGen, excuse me, Misplaced Ults. They currently have most of their members coming back into this area, and it's about halfway for both teams. So realistically, I was calling that too early. Now, we do have Templar here zoning a few of the members away. We do have Altanian trying to get some of that damage out onto that backline. We do have Power Slide into the back here. DB Smiley needs to get away from the enemy. ETC, we currently have Altanian trying to get as much damage out, but it looks like he will be getting just kind of zoned away by Sermaka there. And realistically, you know, it's still even pacing, but overall the zoning and control on the side of Misplaced Ults is really, really strong here, and it looks like they're kind of, they just got so much control in their team. I mean, that definitely seems like, you know, kind of the theme of the comp at this point. Now, this is going to be the first Punisher of the game. It's not the most powerful thing on the earth, so we do have Falstad currently flying up into that top lane, going ahead and just making sure that the Zagara gets pushed back. Malthael looks like he will be going ahead and doing the same. Punisher going to go ahead and get baited over the gate by... Actually, does it land right on the gate? No, it goes through. So it looks like they start to pull it over between these two towers over here, making sure that the fort and the tower are going to be shooting the Punisher. That way they save their well. And just a they're back and forth between these teams. We do currently have Altanian taking quite a bit of damage, but JTR, is going to be getting killed just a little bit out of position there. And looks like in top lane we currently have Murda going up against Shifu, and it looks like he's going to get pushed in here, and if Murda can open up this gate, it's going to be pretty powerful if they have this next lane being a Punisher. Now, Linkin Park potentially getting caught out here. Templar going to go ahead and get a little bit of body blocking. I don't know why that just happened, but okay. Apparently that's a thing that happens with that skin, maybe? I don't know. That's never happened before. Either way, looks like we do have a knockback here as well. Grayman's going to go ahead and try and steal this camp, but Altanian's going to get interrupted. Doesn't want to get killed out here, and it looks like Misplaced Ults might steal this camp away from ReGen. There is a possibility. A few of the members are going to be coming down here. Zulkin will be down here as well as Rhaegar. We do currently have Falstead and Murda going up in that top lane. I believe it was Shifu in the Falstead. And they're going to go ahead and just kind of soak these lanes and just kind of work on their experience until the next Punisher, which actually should be quite soon. Zulkin going to be diving onto JTR here, getting the protected status. And JTR getting quite a bit of damage onto him. We do have the negative healing, but it's not like he will be getting any. And at this point, I would expect JTR to go for the dive. Nope. He'll go ahead and just back off there. Gonna actually meet with Murda, and I don't think he'll be able to get out of this one. It looks like doesn't have the chase, does have the vision though. And at this point, he will be rotating in to the top lane. Now, this is the one thing I was kind of noting as Murda was pushing that top lane, that gate being gone. If they can pick this up, this will be really powerful for ReGen. Currently have to clear up this camp on the side of Misplaced Ults in this bottom lane, and we're currently seeing a little bit of a gap forming in experience. Nothing insane, but we just have a little bit of a lead on the side of ReGen. So definitely, as this game progresses, that could potentially be, the runaway factor that we see here. We actually have a little bit of a fight currently happening in this bottom area over this camp. It looks like we do have Altanian potentially falling here. The cleanse is used. We do have the dive in from the Tyrael, and that will be Grayman falling. And it looks like they want more blood. They currently have Linkin Park diving into Templar. It looks like they will get the silence on him as well. Do have the heal out from Savior, but they get the stun from Anubrak. The knockback is there as well. Power slide out, and it looks like they will only be losing their Grayman here. Now, the Shrine is still activatable. It's a frozen Punisher, but realistically, this entire time, Zulkin's been in top lane trying to lane up, and with that little extra kill, it does kind of shift it over in favor of Misplaced Ults. They're going to go ahead and pick up the Gust. They're going to hold their Tyrael. Looks like it's going to be the Tormented Souls for the Malthael, Web Wrap for the Anubrak, and Flailing Swipe for the Stukov. Now, on the side of Misplaced Ults, or excuse me, of ReGen, they're going to go ahead and pick up Blow for the Throat, the Ancestor Healing, Mosh, Leyline Seal, and Nidus Network. So the big thing we have to watch here is as Murda will be spreading the Nidus Network across the map, trying to get as much value with that as possible. Now, the Shrine is just now being activated, so it looks like that's something that they're going to be really prioritizing. But the one thing that we have to consider is Murda's slowly spreading his creep throughout the map. So this is a 5v4, so currently, while they're having JTR work on a few of these, they're utilizing the rest of the team to zone away ReGen here, and they're doing a very good job of it. I mean, they're almost halfway through the Skeletal Defenders, so this is definitely something that we're going to be needing to watch as this progresses. All the ultimate stuff. Oh, the other thing I to note here, Sanctification was picked up on the side of Tyrael, something that is going to be a real big help for them as we get into the later half of this game. This is going to be a stun on to the ETC. He is silenced. There's actually the Web Wrap out from Anubrak. They currently dive in onto Altanian. The Sanctification is out. Gust actually into the corner, so they can't get through the gate. Altanian taking quite a bit of damage. Savior is going to go ahead and get the Ancestral off here. Leyline Seal does go out. The Mosh is onto a few of the members. Looks like they will start to turn this fight around. They do get the 2 kills here, and ReGen is turning this fight around. JTR is able to actually get out of there. Never mind. I was just about to say he was going to be falling there, but it looks like they go ahead. They jump back onto this point. Shifu trying to get those last 8 Skeletal Defenders, but unfortunately they're not able to. Now their 2 tanks will be back in about 4 seconds. If they stay alive, play this safe, they won't be missing out on too much. But at the same time, the other thing that we need to consider is that in the bottom lane, while all this is happening, we have Murda currently just consistently pushing, knocking this lane down, and this is the predicted lane for the next Punisher. Realistically, we had mid, We then, correct? Yeah, we had mid lane, then we had, now we're in the top lane, so by the logic, it should be bottom lane next, but either way, there is the possibility for it to just randomize and go to mid. There's high probability of it being top again. It's just, there's factors. It's just completely random. Either way, we have this Punisher currently barreling down the top lane. 13s are really, really close on the side of ReGen. The dive does go, the jump goes out onto 8 JTR. It looks like they go ahead and they start to separate the team from this Punisher. We'll be getting a little bit of damage from the fort as well as this tower. We do have Samaka kind of kiting the team around here a little bit. The portal does go out. We do have them taking quite a bit of damage. The jump goes out once again. Stun is there. They actually get the route onto the Falstead here. And they're going to go ahead, actually utilize the gust from this engage to go ahead, clean up this Punisher and just back right off. And at this point, it's smart for ReGen. They could honestly take a fight. They are a talent tier up. They're a level lead up. They could kind of push the issue, but it looks like they're going to play safe here, rotate back. They don't have the Zagara. Now in the bottom lane, we've also had Linkin Park pushing Zagara back here and doing it well. I believe that was probably a camp steal because I don't think a Noobrek could have sold that himself. We currently have the rest of ReGen rotating down here, making sure that they clear up this bottom lane as well as push back the Noobrek. Don't want to let him get too much value here. In the mid lane, we're going to go ahead and have Sheepfu clearing out this camp, just kind of posturing around there now that he sees Zul'Kan. The rest of the team will be getting scouted out by Linkin Park, but they go ahead and just he disengages and they go ahead and just pick up this camp. It will take out the well. Well, I was going to go ahead and just get a couple shots on the well. But either way, it looks like ReGen is just going to go ahead and try and start to push up these lanes, make sure that their level lead is still there as it progresses. Now, the Punisher isn't too far off. We're going to be setting up for a potential bottom lane Punisher next. That would be the expected lane, but the real question is, where are we going to actually see that happen? That's the only thing I'm unsure about at this point. Now, we actually have a little bit of an engagement happening here in mid. We also, the other thing to note here is that one, he finished his Master's Touch quest, and it looks like Murder's going to go ahead and pick up this camp, pushing up the top lane. And either way, they're just kind of posturing around. So we do have a bottom lane Punisher next. It should be Mortar Punisher, if I'm not mistaken. We will find out. I do believe the icon next to it does display the color, so it kind of gives away. But either way, it looks like on the side of Misplaced Ults, they're going to go ahead, before that has even started, they're just going to start out by opening up this gate. So if they take the next Punisher, they definitely will get the value from that, making sure that they do not, they don't get the bait over the wall. And it looks like they're going to posture up around Zul'Kan here. Is going to get the protection status right away. There is the ETC sliding in. So there is a huge ley line seal onto a couple people. Mosh Pit is already set up onto 3 of them. They don't have the interrupt. Linkin Park is just standing there. He does actually wait a couple seconds. He had the interrupt, but they don't get the kills. That's just so insane. There was no follow-up damage at all into any of those members, so it looks like they just kind of walked away. So they had a little dance party, and they just kind of dipped out afterwards. They do have, okay, I thought they had a stun and they wouldn't be able to get to the gate, but looks like that won't be an issue for them. Meanwhile, though, the other thing that we need to consider is that Sheepfu has gone up to that top lane, going to be soaking that experience. Murder's been in mid, pushing this up as well, but we do have a rotation here. Linkin Park going to go ahead and get the stun on him. JTR going to try and get the mark as well, just to have that follow-up, but it won't be happening. We do have the portal out from Zul'Kan. Going to be trying to get a little bit of damage here. DB Smiley falling here. We actually have Templar going to dive in as well. That'll be Malthiel falling here as well. Linkin Park's in a bad situation. He'll be falling next, and that is going to be Sir Maka, the next one to be chased down. Nope, it looks like he'll be able to get out of there. No big deal, and this is going to be an Arcane Shrine picked up for ReGen. I say it with confidence, mostly because of the fact that there's, 10 seconds before the next member of Misplaced Ults is alive. This top lane, I was just about to say his top lane needs to get dealt with. Murder looks like he'll jump up there and go ahead and clear that out. Sir Maka going to go ahead and just rotate up, try and play a little safe here. Maybe just lean up against this Zagara, try and get 16s, and just also delay the potential push that she can provide. Looks like Medivh will go ahead and help out Templar, push down this fort, and go ahead and just open this up for the Punisher. They stop at 39. They're going to hold it over. Sir Maka going to just push back Murda a little bit here. He'll go ahead and jump into the Nidus Network. Something he could do is he could definitely take out that Nidus Network portal so they don't really have that entrance point, and they can actually work on this fort. But meanwhile, they're going to go ahead and ReGen will pick up this camp to push down to the bottom lane. It looks like they're going to go ahead and try and steal away this camp. They actually get the stun onto Altanian. Raymond falling a little bit low here. There is the silence as well. The web wrap does go out. There is the mark, I believe, from JTR, I do believe it goes. It does not go through. We actually have Sheepfood coming in here, getting the gust off. It looks like it was more just for the disengage, and the potential, you know, risk of getting killed there or getting caught out by any of the members of ReGen. But they're going to go ahead and posture up by this gate. They're going to go ahead and just barrel roll through. They don't want to pull the Punisher too early. They go ahead and they do exactly that. They get it once again between the fort and the tower, so it's doing double damage to the Punisher. They save over their well as just something that they can have. And with that, it pulls them so far away that they can't really get any sort of damage over the gate and hurt your members, so you can realistically get a lot of value out of that. And I really like the way that both teams have been pulling the Punisher towards the fort and the tower just to make sure that they realistically burn it down as quick as possible and get that most value. Now, we do actually have Sheepfood trying to get this camp. Was being challenged a little bit by Murda. They are going to be seeing him doing this on the map, and they're going to go ahead and the friendly team will rotate into him, but at the same time, looks like ReGen will go ahead, pick up this camp. It will be taking out that mid lane well. We currently have this bottom lane being pushed up as well. Zul'Kan giving quite a bit of vision. And at this point, we do have a defense for the mid lane. They're just going to be backing off on the side of ReGen. Not going, actually, huge burrow in from Linkin Park. Going to get a gigantic, web wrap onto Murda there, but the Leyline Seal went for the disengage. They actually had the silence onto Altanian. It looks like he will be taking quite a bit of damage, but able to get out of there without a problem. The Holy Ground from Tyrael is going to be quite a nuisance as we get onto this next shrine here quite soon, I do believe, actually. But either way, I mean, this is just a strong back and forth. Now, there is about a 2-level difference here, and that is mostly due to the fact that we have just Cigar going around the map and just consistently pushing the lanes back and just keeping pressure and also just soaking up here. We actually have a dive here from Linkin Park on to Murda. Power slide through. We deal with the pulse flying in as well. Gust is going to separate them from a few of the members. They're trying to get through this portal. Looks like they will at this point, but Malthiel's on the other side. The Tormented Soul is going to be able to get quite a bit of damage onto a few of these members. Investigation keeps as well. Central Healing will connect onto Murda here. We get Templar going to power slide through a few of the members. Get stunned, able to try to get out, but we actually have ETC falling to the Nubrak burrow through. We actually have Web Wrap coming out as well. Look to see them posture around that, make sure that they actually, the flailing swipe pushing Altanian, but they actually get the counter kill on to Stukov here. Altanian taking so much damage, will have the disengage, but unfortunately will not get through the portal. That is going to be the Tyrael falling here. We actually have the bomb blowing up. Looks like they won't get the value. We actually have a stun out onto a couple members. JTR will be falling here as well as Linkin Park. Yes. Meanwhile, Sheepfood was trying to push back that lane, and he will go ahead and Hearth, and this is definitely going to be a Punisher, a Mortar Punisher for ReGen, and it's going to be pushing on to a keep, not a keep front gate, not a keep front wall, just straight onto the keep, because of the fact that they, in that last Punisher, they got quite a bit of value. But it looks like as we're going into these 20 talents, I believe this is Bumble Bliss, Hunter's Bumble Bliss, Blunder Bliss, Blunder Bust. There we go. Cannot read tonight. We have Storm Shield out from the Rhaegar, Blink from the ETC, Medivh cheats from Medivh, obviously, and it looks like we have a drop. And we have Fury of the Storm from the Zagara, so we'll go ahead and just pull that away. Actually, I can test this out really quickly. No, it still shows map. Don't want to do that. But either way, we'll go ahead and just kind of hide the map away here as we are in this pause. All right, so this could potentially be game ending. Misplaced Ults, I mean, they got 12 seconds on the Anubrak. They have 7 seconds on their Malthiel. Pretty much by the time the Punisher is there, realistically, they'll have everything off a cooldown, but excuse me, the other thing that we have to consider at this point is the fact that there is the 20 advantage on the side of ReGen. Wave Clear was picked up by Zagara with that Fury of the Storm. So they're definitely going to be having that on their side, really pushing up those lanes quite quickly if needed. Just an absolutely wonderful game so far, and it's honestly it's not been a crazy back and forth, but there have been some kills. I mean, we're at 12-5 at this point, kill wise, so it's been a little bit back and forth either way. We just gotta wait for the one member to kind of level out here, make sure that they're all set before we go back into this matchup here. And just to remind everyone, if you're enjoying the stream, go ahead and hit that follow button. It means the world to me. If you're having a blast and you hit that, it's an absolute, it's great for me. Thank you. I appreciate it. Either way though, if you ever want to catch the VODs or anything, they're always on my Twitch page. You can also catch them on YouTube. Just go ahead and hit ! YouTube in the Twitch chat or ! Twitter. And that'll give you my Twitter link. Either of those are good places to find out where I'm casting, when I'm going casting, or any sort of VODs I've posted. I'm getting pretty good at uploading them. It looks like we're kind of getting that back catalog started up, so I can kind of just upload one a day, or I have some uploaded ahead of time, so I can just kind of push publish. And definitely something that we'll be doing as I get out of town in December for a couple days. We'll stock up on some videos and we'll publish those, so at least you guys get a little bit of content while I'm out of town. But that's down the road. Either way, we got to talk about this matchup. And the other thing we have to consider here is that Falstead is getting quite close to finishing his season marksman stacks. I believe he's only like a minion 2 away. So realistically at this point, yeah, what are we sitting at? Yeah, he's got a couple minions to kill, not even. So that's definitely something that, with that power spike, that could potentially be something that they need on the side of Misplaced Ults to turn this around. But the other thing that we have to consider is this is going to be a Punisher pushing down the top lane, and it's going to be going on to a keep, so this is going to be a little risky. Okay. All right. So we just got to figure out when this next member is going to be back. I'm sorry. I apologize to Twitch stream. Just going to go ahead and just kind of talk with... I just got to message the next game letting them know. Oh, looks like we're going to be getting into this very shortly, as I'm told. I'm just trying to double check. I'm just trying to set us up for the next game here. Okay, it is. Okay. Okay. What? Why? Apparently the member is loading up HOTS currently. I didn't know you had to stop the game when your internet goes out. Either way, we'll figure it out. Looks like they're loading in here. Hopefully they can get back into this game quite quickly, because I'm just excited to continue this. That's the most exciting part, is just getting into this next matchup. That, and just as we also get into this Punisher here, I'm curious to see how they're realistically going to be dealing with this on the side of Misplaced Ults. They're down 2 levels. They've got 2 people respawning just now, so realistically, this is going to be hard for them. And the other thing that I need to consider here is Falstead? I can see like Falstead's aim for something, so okay, no, I think it's just showing it because we're paused. Phew. I thought he was like, I hovered over him to like check something earlier, and it was just like, it's like I hovered over his gust, and so like it was just funny that like it was pointing in the wrong direction, but in the pause modes it just kind of hovers whatever direction it was initially pointed at. Just the shade in our chat though, man. Either way, looks like okay, both teams. I like how they're talking about solid states, and just I got mine out of a claw machine, and you know they're $20. Just oh my god, these guys, this back and forth is absolutely great. But we just got to get ready for just the member to get back in here, and then we can get going. Okay. Oh. Okay. All right, looks like we're going to be going back into this. All right, let's get going into here. So we'll go ahead and just let the teams know that they're going in 3, 2, 1, pause, break. So let's get back into this matchup. Currently just having this being picked up. It looks like they, I don't know why, but they're saying that they came back into the game and they're just going to finish with a bot at this point. But the weird thing was to me is to why you had to exit the game. Because we just paused and waited. Either way, let's go ahead and just, we're going to have this Mortar Punisher currently walking down the top lane. Now the real question is Misplaced Ults going to be able to get to, you know, defend this in time? That's the big question. We are going to have the leap on to Lincoln Park here to go ahead and throw away the talents just so we can see everything. Do have Maka taking quite a bit of damage, but the Punisher is starting to really prioritize that well. Does not like the lane sustain. It's going to go ahead and at 80%, we actually have a huge ley line seal into a few of the members. ETC going to go ahead and set himself up for a mosh pit. Going to get a few of the members. Looks like it will be interrupted right away. The Gust is going to go ahead and push back a few of the members here. Looks like the Punisher is going to go ahead and start to work down this keep. Maka is taking quite a bit of damage. If the Punisher does leap onto him, nope, he'll be going right onto the Shifu. And it looks like he will be the priority of the damage, but at the same time, we do have the fight up above still taking place. This team is not ready to leave, and it looks like they're going to go ahead, burn down this fort, and start to back off from this lane. At this point, the Grey Mane bot does not look like he'll be able to get out. Actually, with the rollout, but he does have the poison on him, so he will be falling here. Currently have the portal coming out from Zulkan, able just to make this disengage saber, trying to make the rotation out. Going to go ahead and get bodied there. And it looks like, meanwhile, all this was happening, we do have Murda in the bottom lane, just kind of pushing that out. We do have top lane starting to get a first wave of catapults, and something we need to consider here, as well as the fact is just these lanes are just getting so pushed in by Zagara. That's definitely something we're going to need to respond to eventually. And at this point, I wouldn't be too surprised to see her jump into the top lane, possibly take away this camp. They do have vision from Zulkan, so the big question is if Murda can get there in time before JTR can collect this. But we're going to have a little bit of a fight. Oh, he backs off, actually. And so it looks like he will dive onto him. Murda actually going to be chased down by JTR. Now the big question is, do they get the kill? And it looks like that's exactly... Protect status is actually going to come out from Medivh, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough. They actually do get the counter kill on the Malthael. DB Smiley going to go ahead, try and get the kill on the Zulkan. Leyline Seal will go out, getting one of the members here. But that only just puts him closer, and they actually get the Leyline... Excuse me, they get the portal through. They're trying to get out of here. Goes ahead and gets into bird form, and will make it out just fine. Okay, and at this point we do have the members We do have them pushing down the mid lane and... Huh. Can't even join the stream? Are you saying you can't? I don't know. Either way, looks like we're going to go ahead and have this bottom lane Punisher being picked up first. And realistically, I mean, this could potentially be game ending. We're talking 23-ish minutes by the time this thing picked up. It's about 22 minutes now, obviously, scaling throughout the game. And so this Punisher Mortar, it's not the strongest in the world, but picked up by ReGen could be game ending. Picked up by Misplaced Ults could, you know, it's the same kind of thing. But realistically, ReGen has to go through, or excuse me, Misplaced Ults has to go through quite a bit of structures. And they're going to go ahead and actually open this up for themselves really, really quickly here. The level lead has been kind of evened out. I apologize. I'm going to go ahead and pull this talents back up. Malthael actually still holding his level 20 talent. Interesting. I guess realistically, you can be able to bring yourself back from the death at a snap pick. So it's kind of good to save it over realistically. I don't know. We do have Shifu in this top lane, making sure that the core isn't going to be pressured just and won over that way. We currently have a few of the members of ReGen starting to posture around this shrine. We are about halfway through for Misplaced Ults, so at this point, this is going to be kind of a do or die situation. Does ReGen rotate in for the fight? And it looks like that's exactly what they're starting to do. Falstead does have the... No, he actually doesn't have Epic Mount. I don't know if he has played up the cooldown just yet, but at this point we do have a few of the members starting to bully the... Ooh, we actually have a Leyline Seal go out. There's the Mosh Pit, and it looks like they actually... The Flailing Swipe right away. They disengage from it. The next status will go out. Sanctification is used from material. They're starting to take the spike. Looks like it's starting to go over in favor of Misplaced Ults here. We do have JTR going into the background, getting so much of that damage out with the Reactor Sneak-Off falling really early here. Sir Mako will be falling as well. Linkin Park is going to be falling next. We have Shifu just coming in. Medivh's going to be dying. Rhaegar is going to be dying. Does Greymane will not be able to get out of there alive. And we currently have Zagara and ETC versus a Malthael and a fully stacked and stacked higher Falstead. Now, I don't think this is going to be the game-ending Punisher that we've been talking about, but realistically, this is still going to do some serious damage to this gate. Sorry, I'm trying to double check something really here. Okay. I was just trying to see if my chat thing was operating or not, because I wasn't sure if someone was talking in the chat or not. Either way, it looks like the Punisher will go over the gate, gonna start working down this lane, and realistically, this isn't gonna get a whole lot of value. It does buy them time for their members to come back, gives time for Shifu to just stack more, as well as just clear this out, make sure that the catapults aren't going to be doing too much damage to the core. Now, realistically, this means that the Punisher has kind of whittled down this keep, and this is what I'm talking about. If ReGen had got this and they were a 5-man, or even Misplaced Ults, they got this and they were a 5-man, this would have been game ending. That Punisher hit that keep, I want to say 4 or 5 times, and it took it down to half health. So it's just one of these things that we're going to need to watch for as this game progresses. That Punisher died around the 15:45 mark, so we'll probably look to see that in around like 26 something, if I'm not mistaken. Currently have this camp being picked up. Zulkan will kind of scout out where the enemy team is. This bottom lane, it looks like it's the win condition. But if you look at the mini-map, it's absolutely terrifying. At least if you see the whole thing on the side for ReGen, because they just have Nidus everywhere, they have vision everywhere. So to move around the map for a Misplaced Ults is a little bit difficult, at least on the side of ReGen's side of the map. So this is definitely something that they're going to need to consider. They go ahead and they're going to pick up this camp and make sure that they're getting the vision for it. And actually, at this point, we do have a rotation into the top lane. They're going to go ahead and scout this out, so the ETC does see this happening. But I would assume that the next Punisher will be top lane. I believe it was mid. It was top lane. There's a random chance, not last, but the time before this, I do believe, when Greymane actually dropped in, and they were trying to put the core, and they just got to keep. Looks like, though, they will go ahead and confirm this fort. It's going to be a little bit more experience for themselves, and it looks like they trying to backdoor at this point? Or are they just trying to snag another keep and just really open up this lane? Either way, we have Booty Smiley and Shifu coming into the lane. I don't know why that's happening. it's something that ETC is doing with their skin or something. I don't know what it is, but either way, they actually isolate the Gray Man here. He's going to be getting burned down right away, and so that is going to be the keep save. And it looks like at this point, this is going to be a mid lane Punisher, and to be fair, mid lane is the best lane for Misplaced Ults, and, you know, if they can get this, if Misplaced Ults can pick this up, this is going to be a really, really strong push for them, and they could potentially end this. But at the same time, if ReGen can just delay this game out, top lane will push itself out, and they can potentially win off of that as well. This is a ticking time bomb for Misplaced Ults, and this is really something they're going to need to worry about here. And so they'll go ahead, they'll start out this Punisher. It is going to be a frozen Punisher, and we are going to be seeing... I mean, it's considered quite strong. I mean, the rooting from it's really good. Just the overall damage is just... I'm not excited. At least whoever's on the receiving end, I'm not excited for them. And it looks like it's probably going to be ReGen, unless they're going to be trying to come in for a late game fight once again. I mean, I don't know what they're doing at this point. They're kind of just spread across the map, just postured up. It looks like they're going to go and pick up this camp and try and get a kill onto the Malfield here. Once again, trying to prioritize this bottom lane of heat. Now, the other thing we have to note here, top lane, 3 catapults. That's something they need to respond to eventually. JTR is actually getting quite a bit of damage here onto Zulkin. Murda going to be coming back through that Mighty Sniper, going to be getting quite a bit of damage on JTR. Will hit the corner to Soul. Going to get some value off of that bottom lane. We currently have Samaka coming down here as well. Zulkin falling a little bit low. There is the Leyline Seal that does go out. It looks like that will be the Mahee falling here. We do have Murda going up against JTR. He will be killing the Malfield, but the Sanctification is used. Portal out, but the poison is too much. They get the kill onto Zagara. Now, Malfield has returned, comes right back. That was the 20 talent I do believe he was holding. But they go ahead and they're going to be picking up this Punisher on the side of Misplaced Ults. Just random noises throughout the stream tonight. I don't know what's happening. But either way, looks like ReGen is going to go ahead and start to back off and go towards their keep. Make sure they get the defense on this. Top lane, it's got a decent push, and this could be worrisome. Bottom lane is starting to stack up quite a bit. That's something you need to recognize as well. And this is the do or die time. They either take this push and win, or they lose out from the bottom top push. And are they trying to back? Rhaegar, what are you doing? What's happening? Rhaegar's going for a camp at this point. Templar is going through. I'm just so confused by the Rhaegar in bottom lane currently. That's just thrown me off so hard. Punisher currently working down the keep. They actually have the web wrap onto Greymane there. They get that keep. The Leyline Seal does go out onto 3 of the members. Looks like they will have the Templar trying to set up for another mosh pit there. Gets the gust right away as he was walking in. So Maka's going to go ahead and try and push this up. They actually get the kill onto Greymane, so the bot will be dead. We currently have the war being prioritized by the team. Actually, it's going to be just losing shields. You have Naveed, the flailing swift does go out as well. It looks like this core is starting to fall. Realistically, ReGen, I don't know if they can have this. They do get the mosh from Templar. It's going to be interrupted by Linkin Park here, but that looks like it's going to be the core falling. And that is going to be game number 2 going over to Misplaced Ults. It's going to be 1-1 for points. GG, well played.